I know that there's like, let's just say an epidemic of people not wanting to claim blackness. Like they claim like where they're from, not what they are. So I highly represent, like, when I go to conventions.
Ooh, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
This is a question that I have to be very sensitive about answering. Black people like Japan and Japanese culture due to the fact that
What do you think about anime's representation of black people? Hey guys, what's up? It's Ranzo here. I'm actually in LA at Anime LA at the Long Beach Convention Center, right? So we're gonna talk to a lot of people here today, hopefully, about Japan and anime. Let's go. What's your name, by the way?
Shane.
So what's your name?
Bubba.
My name is Tonisha.
I'm Blair.
Tell me which anime to you is your favorite?
Sonara Zetsubo Sensei. It's like a satire about like Japanese culture and such. It's a humor. So yeah.
My favorite anime is Sailor Moon. I watched it when I was like literally like 0 years old. My sister would watch it, and I would literally crawl in diapers to the screen and just so I could watch it with her. And that has stayed like number one for like my entire life.
What's your favorite anime?
I love Inuyasha.
Oh, Inuyasha.
Yeah, Inuyasha. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's one of my childhood show of all time. I even cosplay as his daughter from his recent reboot that they came out. I believe it's been 2 years now, but yeah.
Are you a fan of anime?
Yes, indeed, definitely a fan.
So
Overindulged.
what's your favorite anime?
Okay, this is gonna be a little controversial. So like, I'm not a big three fan lover, but like I do watch them. I'm faithful. But my favorite anime, and I gotta plug it, it's The Prince of Tennis.
Okay, why do you like that one?
I like The Prince of Tennis because it's just a strong representation of like what a person can become when they have a healthy environment. The healthiest environment as being as dysfunctional as you can be.
Interesting, right? Because you came out saying, stay black, right? So it's like, it's very interesting.
All the time. In real time. Yeah, because blackness is super important. Like, I know that there's like, let's just say an epidemic of people not wanting to claim blackness. Like they claim like where they're from, not what they are. So I highly represent, like, when I go to conventions, I'm a black person that represents, black culture, but in the anime style. So I'm a black person just in anime style.
Tell us about that.
So black people, they come here and they cosplay, which is like we dress up as anime characters, but like most people try to make the cosplay look inorganic to who they are. Like if this character has really straight hair or really tight eyes or, like a certain type of physique, when black people do it, they try to emulate that instead of being them, but with the, the aesthetics of that character. So I represent more or less those people that do that exact thing.
So which anime do you think is overrated and underrated?
Overrated, I would say maybe Demon Slayer?
Overrated? I'm gonna say Attack on Titan, mostly because I'm just like, I don't really see the appeal of it, and I kind of like, I feel like it's overstayed its welcome in terms of like relevancy in like anime, and I say that when One Piece exists, but One Piece is actually like, it keeps up and up its like quality, and I don't know if Attack on Titan is really doing that for itself.
Ooh, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
I feel One Piece coming on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I literally watched it when I was younger, but like, it's so long. And then they decided to do a reboot, and I was like, Prince, can we just end it already?
The most overrated, Fruit Basket. You may not know this, but it's super popular. Everybody knows it, loves it. They do like dances, and it's like social environment. Is super overrated. Super. Ideally, I'm an action person, so like if you don't got crazy action, doesn't mean I'm not gonna love it, but it has to have some level of like, let me tune in for the next episode.
And underrated?
Underrated. I would say like Healer Girl. Like that's the first thing that comes to mind right now.
I think an anime that I think is underrated, honestly, I'm gonna say the Pretty Cure series, because I'm a huge fan of magical series in general, and I just really like that these girls have hair like taller than skyscrapers in these floofy little dresses, and they're still just bam, bam, feeding people bricks, and I'd be like, oh, I'm scared of these girls.
Underrated? This one's hard because everybody has different tastes in anime, but I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is really good. Like it's popular, but it's not popular enough for people to be like, okay, I'm gonna need for you guys to hurry up and like upload the rest of it.
Underrated. I would probably say Sword Art Online. like people tend to hate Sword Art Online because it had this big boom and it started to like get like one-sided. But what I understand it to be, it's kind of like if I told you the Matrix was coming, and you'd be like, "What the hell is that?" There's gonna be a guy dodging bullets. How do we do that? He's gonna be in a 360-degree spectrum getting viewed, and then they're gonna like it would sound ridiculous. But then when you see it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite movie. And then all the kids emulate it. That's what Sword Art Online SAO is. So it broke the genre on like VR, headset, like immersive gameplay. And it's going to represent the next wave of, person to media interaction. So nobody loves it now, but it used to be the hottest thing on the market. And I think it's underrated because people fell out of love because they had different expectations. But it's going to still revolutionize the incorporation of new age gaming.
What do you like about anime?
For me, like, I just personally really like storytelling in general. So honestly, it doesn't have to be anime for me. Anime is just more accessible and like more is produced a lot. So it's like, okay, cool. But yeah, just storytelling, character development and such. And just like being able to like create something out of, create stories that like aren't really usually told through the animation medium. So it's like, okay.
So what do you like about anime specifically?
I don't know. I think it's more like because I'm a huge animation person in general, and like with anime, it explores a lot more things that you can't get in like the Western thing. They're more willing to be like, oh, even though this is like an animated thing, how like dark can we put it? How wild can we get it? Like just like it does a lot of things, and like animation is such a diverse medium. Mm-hmm. It's great to see like something that like celebrates that and utilizes it to its fullest capacity.
So what got you interested in anime?
It was just something, after school, you just watch on your free time. At first it started out like reading, and then you slowly was like, oh, this is like, it was on YouTube. I saw a YouTube video. I was like, oh, what's this? And it was like, oh my God. And then it was like, I got introduced to Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, Inuyasha ended up coming up on Cartoon Network here in America, and I was like, oh, I like this. And then it was just after that, it just progressed to more animes after that, and I was like, yes.
So what are you just as?
It's like a mixture. So I'm a hood version of a character called Strider Hiryu, and I had a back tat that was done by one of my makeup artists, and I made sure that I came out here to represent just a little bit. Today was not the day where I did my full, my setup, but I did enough.
What do you think about anime's representation of black people?
I love the representation that they have of certain black characters. Like there's a character, his name is Killer B in Naruto. He's like a super black gentrified, you know what I'm saying? Like let's just call him a good acting black person. But he's like one of the strongest in the series. And there's another character, her name is Yoruichi. She's from Bleach. And she's the hottest thing on the market. But it's like people are a little sensitive about it because they don't want to be offensive. There is no offense when you have good intentions. So if you walk up with love on your heart, like even if you do it incorrectly, they're still going to be received well. So I stand on that type of representation that we're as a black environment that we can go out there and be strong representation for, let's just say, our culture and the style of anime.
When you hear the word Japan, what comes to mind?
Aichi region, because I just left from there.
Oh wait, so you visited Japan before? What was it like?
It was wonderful. Everything was like kind of overgrown, at least in the Aichi region. And like that's kind of like my aesthetic. Everything's just like naturey and historical, and I thought that was really beautiful. When you're like living in America, you're just like, oh, okay, this is relatively new. But then you look at Japan and you're like, whoa, this is older than America. Like, whoa, it's like really cool. But yeah.
What do you love about Japan?
Ooh, I really liked how people just didn't bother you. I mean, like, okay, maybe there's like one time when like I was walking like through the streets and like this police just kept passing by. I was like, okay. But like besides that, like no one really bothered me. Like people were just really kind. Like I think my dad, because he went to Japan a long time ago, because he was stationed in Okinawa. But he was like, I don't know, the old people are kind of. But like, I don't know, all the old people were like really nice to me, and they were like, they seemed serious, and I'd be like, oh, ohayou gozaimasu, and they'd be like, oh, ohayou gozaimasu. It's really cute.
So would you live in Japan?
Perhaps not. Only because it's seriously only because of the weather. Like I'm always afraid. I know we live in California, but I'm always afraid of earthquakes and such. And I can't swim, so.
So wait. You said you can't swim and earthquake in the same sentence.
Yeah.
How do they come together?
I mean, like, okay, I'm always afraid that, like, you know, earthquakes, you know, all the rising tides, and you're like, ah.
Oh, tsunami.
Yeah, tsunamis. I mean, like, California does have similar problems sometimes, but, like, not as much. So, yeah.
When you hear the word Japan, what comes to mind?
Interesting. That's the word that I couldn't get to it, and then it was like interesting because even though there's a lot of faults, there's a lot of positives, and I feel like overall that makes the whole experience of like what Japan provides for the world and what they have created is just like it's very interesting.
Have you visited Japan before?
No, my sister has. She lived there for like I think a year.
Do you want to visit Japan?
I do. I think it would be very fun. I think it would just be like I want to see all the things outside of like anime that I know like a lot about. Like I really like the like mythology of Japan. Like yokai is something that I'm really interested in. So I'd be like, oh, love to see and go to places where that's like more talked about and discussed.
So when you hear the word Japan,
Yeah.
what comes to mind?
Japan, I think of Harajuku when I think of Japan most of the time, but also I think of food. A lot of food. I love Japanese food.
Have you been to Japan?
No, I want to go, but the funds are not there yet. Not there.
You should definitely check it out, right?
Yes, I want to go. Hopefully this year. Hopefully.
What do you think is the number one reason why black people like Japan?
Mostly because of anime. There's a lot of black people that love anime. Yeah, I feel like that. But I feel like also just like the freedom you could feel in Japan. I feel like people and like black people specifically feel like you're more free in Japan.
That's true.
Yeah.
When you hear the word Japan, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is soccer trees, ramen, and big boobs.
Have you ever been to Japan?
Not yet. I plan to go. I got my passport in October. Planning to go.
What do you like about Japan?
I would say I like the martial arts aspect, and I like the lacking of trash.
What do you think black people like about Japan, right? Because there's a pretty thriving community in Japan.
This is a question that I have to be very sensitive about answering. Black people like Japan and Japanese culture due to the fact that in the early 80s and 90s there was a exploitation of karate, Japanese culture, done through Hollywood and all that stuff, and basically like franchising deals that allow people to have access to it, and it was very much broadcasted on like let's just say low budget or under budgeted networks, so that black people had access to that type of fantasy, and through that we became immersed and found another place to call home, because home was let's just say less trouble than what the TV represented.
What do you think is the number one reason why black people say they like Japan?
Anime, and if I'm gonna specifically speak anime, I'm specifically talking about Dragon Ball, Piccolo. Shout out to you. I feel like there's also like going off of just like the anime allows a lot of people to like do a lot of things. When black people show up in anime, it's also kind of like, oh, what are you about to do? Like, I'm really excited. Like, there's this one dude in like Soul Eater with like his like he has like he's a Meister and he has weapons that are like lightning and fire gauntlets. I'm just like, finally, some of my representation. I love like people who like find stuff. So like seeing black people in animation into like a higher degree is also something that I'm just like, yeah. And like Piccolo's not black, but we know he's black. So
So there you have it, guys. So this was Anime LA at Long Beach Convention Center. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up and remember to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Until next time, it's cold out here. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.